and I was selling boat registrations and licenses to people who came in the door. I mean, it was the entry-level job of the entire agency, and I got a really good look on how to do all that stuff. It was a very difficult job, and shout out to all those people who do that for us, right?
Yeah. The award-winning Tennessee WildCast is on the air with the latest on hunting, fishing, boating, wildlife watching, and all things outdoors. Make welcome your host, drummer and outdoor expert novice, Jason Harmon.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to this edition of Tennessee WildCast. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We're excited about today's show. Today we have Deputy Director Michael May with us, and we're glad he's here, but we're sad to see him go. He's going to be retiring from the agency and taking on some new roles in new places. We're excited for that, though.
Bittersweet. I'm looking forward to doing a bit of a rewind and talking about some of the things we've worked on together.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Michael,
Yeah.
thanks for being here.
Oh, it's my pleasure. It's an honor, and thank you. You guys are always fun to hang out with. Appreciate it.
This isn't your first WildCast appearance. You had you on back a while ago when we talked about some of the maps and things that are going on in GIS,
Right,
and
and
the app, and
right.
all that fun stuff. So it's good to have you back.
Thank you. Good to be back. I love it.
I'm going to miss you. Mr. Don King has helped me co-host.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Glad he's here with us.
Thanks for the invite. And, it's appropriate. We're all gathered around microphones and doing a radio show, podcast, and all that. And because one of my favorite memories of Michael is when we did Doug Markham's radio
Right.
show down at WTN in 2014. I had to have my daughter scan her photos and show me where that was.
That's right,
what
she
date
was there.
that was. Yeah, that's
Right.
right. She sang a song or two and
That was a great time.
was working at the foundation at the time. But we were highlighting the rollout of the new TWRA on the Go app.
Man, can you believe it? I mean,
know.
at that time, we rolled it out, and it was so new and all these things, and now you just can't even imagine not having it, right?
Yeah.
And one of the things that kicked it off was our producer today, Todd Mazzaris, created that cool graphic at the beginning. If anybody downloaded that app, they remember the raccoon.
Right, and it was animated.
Yeah, and
right?
it animated, and it stood up, and boy, it almost talked to you, and then it ran off the screen,
Right.
and there the app came. You know, so that was.
I think Commissioner Angie Box would have loved to seen that raccoon.
Oh, yeah.
Shout
We
out.
may have to cut her out a portion and send it to her. What do you say?
I think she'd love it, right?
That's right. Oh man.
Oh, man. Yeah, I remember days and days and days and nights of that. Todd was trying to get it just right, and, the prints and the timing and everything.
It's like every quarter of a second he was looking at it, and it lasted, I don't remember, but I don't know, maybe 10 seconds. It took a long time, and you took weeks doing that, Todd. It was fantastic. It shows the level of professionalism we have here in the agency, and it just boggles my mind, but it's wonderful. Right?
Yeah, good deal. Yeah, it's a pleasure. It really is.
Yeah. Well, that was cool. I mean, you had your hands in that first edition of the app. A
Right.
lot of stuff was going on there. I mean, it had a lot of cool stuff. Now it's advanced. You've had your hands in that too, and the way it's advanced from that early stages.
It's crazy. When we first began, that app didn't, the technology was not, we talked about that back then, right? The technology was not to the point where we could, do tagging with the app. So that's when the agency moved away from physical tagging and went to the app and that whole thing. And through advances in the technology, we've adapted it over the years, and now we've got tagging back and utilizing the app for that. So it's been full circle, but now we have new technologies to be able to get people out in the field and have a lot of fun without having to worry about having to have paper, just making it more convenient for people. And it's been the push the whole time. So.
And last year, it had to have been a big factor in helping people get outdoors when they were up at home and they,
Right.
our offices were shut down for a time, and you couldn't just go in any place and buy a license.
Right.
So they were able to do it with the app.
And exactly, and they just had we had a record year last year because of that, and I think the COVID thing was a big, huge problem for everybody, obviously throughout the entire planet, and Tennessee came in number 1 in sales, increase in sales over the entire country. And a lot of people say, well, we expect that because it was COVID, but the entire planet was going through COVID. Everybody had a handicap, and we still came out number 1. And I think that's, really shows a lot what the agency's doing.
Right.
But really highlights what we have here in Tennessee for those people, our customers, and the people who want to go out and have fun and take advantage of that. And Tennessee has everything. It's probably the best state in that regard. So it really highlighted Tennessee.
Yeah. On those lines there, I don't want to jump around too much today, but I want to jump down my list of questions I had. Did you grow up outdoors? Did you enjoy the outdoors growing up? And
I did.
Is that what brought you to the agency?
Wow. Yes and no. Right. I loved the outdoors. I remember growing up with my family camping and fishing. It was the number 1 thing we did. I've fished my entire life, and probably my favorite thing to do is fish. And so much so that we did so much of it, I took a hiatus, kind of got burned out of it for several years, and I got back into it. But camping and all that, and then kind of getting into hunting a little bit, but fishing's my big deal. So I really loved it. And getting to the agency, I graduated college and didn't really have, with a microbiology degree, and didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. And my mother-in-law at the time, Betty Firkins, was working here, and she said, hey, why don't you come get a job here down in the sales office down in Region 2 down the hill. And I just said, okay, we'll do that for a while and figure out what I want to do. And I was selling boat registrations and licenses to people who came in the door. I mean, it was the entry-level job of the entire agency, and I got a really good look on how to do all that stuff. It was a very difficult job, and shout out to all those people who do that for us, right?
Yeah,
exactly. So that's how I came into the agency.
Wow. So I didn't know that part. That's new news to me. So you came full circle.
Full circle.
I mean, now you're the deputy director that manages those folks that are on those levels,
Yeah, overall business operations.
Business operations, yeah.
For all of it. It was, it's any success I may have ever had was because of all of these people doing just incredible work and moving up through the agency. And I went from that to IT. But
what a great understanding, though, to be able to know what our people are doing, what kind of challenges they face, when that obstinate customer comes up, or some a challenge where they're trying to figure something out about a license issue that they've had.
Having been there and done that, you can look at them and say, hey, I don't know what you're going through right now, but I've done something like that, and let me see what I can do to remove those roadblocks for you and make your life easier.
And I know you've always been a big proponent of customer service, no matter where it is within the agency, in amongst ourselves, dealing with division to division and also with the public. So.
Yeah, I think it's pretty important to realize we have customers internal and external.
Right.
And our side of the agency's business operations, also the support mechanism for the entire agency, and we need to focus on that. And I think customer service internal, like you just said, is incredibly important and critical to making sure that we provide the best product and services to the customer, the public, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately.
Right. Well, give folks a timeline. You started to mention that. Where did you go next? Where did you go next today?
Wow.
Just kind of reminiscing here.
Yeah, sure. So after that, I worked down there for a good bit, and then I got a job in IT. And I had to learn a lot there. I was in the military, and I did computer guidance systems, electronics, and stuff like that on missiles and so forth. So they thought, hey, you can do IT. And I'm like, are you sure?
Hey, it's all numbers.
It's computers.
It's ones and zeros.
Yeah. Right. So they taught me how to do a lot. They sent me a lot of schools, and I learned how to do that. And I really thoroughly enjoyed it and moved my way up through IT, and eventually became chief IT division, which was housed the licensing system.
Right.
So that's really how that migrated into it, and working with the app, and it just kind of started working with all the different divisions and working with IT as a support mechanism for the entire agency. So it allowed me to really delve into, understanding what the field operations were doing. Like, I don't do their job, but
right.
having a kind of an understanding of what they do and how we need to support them. So I'm starting to learn a lot about the entire agency. And then when finally, I think, Barry Sumner's retired, put in for the job, and was a deputy director and ended up getting it. I think some of it was, a lot of it was because of some military background I had. So, but I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
It's hard to leave.
Well, we've definitely appreciated your support in our communications outreach and multimedia divisions. I mean, you've been a big supporter of us, and we appreciate that. Give us the tools we need to get our jobs done.
What you guys do is critical. We need to get that information out to the customers, and hey, what are we doing?
Yeah.
What more can we be doing for you? And getting that feedback from them.
Right.
That's huge, important.
Right.
So
we've mentioned this a lot of times, but folks maybe don't understand that we're not just guys out there with badges and writing tickets.
Right.
There's so many different levels of the agency.
Well, and the law enforcement officers are face of the agency,
right.
And the job they do is incredible. It's very difficult, and they do an impeccable job. And there's a lot more stuff on top of that even, and so it's fascinating.
Yeah, when you consider they're out helping teach hunter ed classes. If a pond liner needs to get pulled and several wildlife officers get recruited to do that, hey, they're part of that too.
They're the ones to do it.
Yeah.
They have an incredible responsibility, and hats off to all of them for sure.
Yeah.
And they're all. If I say all, most of them have a wildlife biology degree,
Yes.
a fisheries degree of some sort. So they know that stuff.
Right.
They may be carrying the badge and toting the gun, but they also are biologists in heart. Yeah.
So when somebody stops them at the restaurant at lunchtime and says, "Hey, I got this thing, this critter in the backyard. What is this?" They can answer all those questions,
and they do, and they can, right? Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Well, we wanted to dive into a little bit of the military background, right, Don?
Yeah, I wanted to see about when did that start? Was it kind of concurrent with working at the agency, or did that begin before?
Probably about
coming here?
almost 10 years before I got in the
Oh,
agency.
10 years. Okay.
Yeah, almost, something like that. Yeah.
Okay.
So I joined the Indiana. I'm from Indiana. Sorry.
Hey, I'm from Nebraska.
Right,
Same deal.
Right. So I joined the Indiana Air Guard, which is Air Force National Guard, right? I joined up there, and while I was going to college, and I was in munitions. I built bombs, missiles, all that kind of stuff for the fighter aircraft. Had a really good time. Moved my way up through that, learning about different things, and just learning about the leadership aspect of things. I think was the most important thing that I learned when you realize that when you start doing things for other people, then you're able to move up the chain because that's what needs to happen. And so different kind of careers I've had. I was first sergeant as well, and I think that was one of the most difficult jobs I've ever had, but it focused on taking care of people, so I loved it a lot. And then worked with a mission support group, superintendent at the 181st Intelligence Wing, and then I moved over to be the command chief at the Fort Wayne Wing, 122nd Fighter Wing for A-10s, and that was a senior enlisted leader position for that base. And then about a year later, I was selected to be the command chief over the state of Indiana be the senior enlisted leader over the state. So,
wow.
And that's my current position right now. And I'd retire there next year. So,
wow.
With a 30-year history with them too. So, it's been pretty. It's been a lot. So for the past almost 30 years, I've had 2 jobs.
Yeah,
I
really.
was going to say a lot on your plate there, but I mean, you've
fun.
Handled it well. Yeah.
Well, it's a lot of fun. If you don't enjoy it, it turns into something else.
Yeah,
for sure. I've loved it all.
That's awesome. Well, is the military going to run in the family? Is that? Do I hear that you've got some family members that enjoy? They're part of that too.
Yeah, my son Patrick. He's this August will be his 3rd year anniversary. He joined the 122nd up there.
Okay, awesome.
And he's going to school in Indiana State, and he's a crew chief on the A-10 Warthog up in the 122nd Fighter Wing. So he's big into that. He loves it, and he's moving in that direction. And we'll see how he goes.
Well, good for
He's
him.
doing really well. My dad was in the military. He was in Korea. And so we have a long history even before him. So it's just something that I grew up with. Yeah. And he grew up with it too, right?
Wow, that's cool.
I remember you going to his graduation. When he I guess maybe that was basic that you attended at.
Yeah, we went to the basic training graduation, which is just a phenomenal ceremony,
and
just really praises those young airmen and showing them, hey, you did a lot of hard work, and this is your day. And so it was very fantastic. And then he went on to crew chief school, and then I was asked to speak at his graduation at crew chief school graduation. So that was a big dad moment right there.
I'm learning all kinds of stuff today too.
Had a lot of fun.
A lot of this stuff he keeps under the radar, no pun intended.
Yeah. That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, your time here at the agency is coming to a close, but there's something more in the future. You're not quitting here. You're moving on and to bigger and better things, new things.
A great thing is that all this experience and that you've acquired over the years, working not only with the agency but with the military, your experience there, it's going to apply even on a bigger scale, from what I understand. Maybe even on a more of a national kind of approach. So we just appreciate what you've done here, and we look forward to the bigger and even better things.
Thank you.
That you're going to get into beyond this.
Going to work with the Brandt Information Services Company, and they work on licensing systems, which I'm familiar with because that's what we do here. And I'm looking forward to diving in with that company. They're greatly respected throughout the country, and very excited to go work with them and dive deep and learn a lot for a long time. So there's a lot that they do behind the scenes that I need to learn, and I'm looking forward to diving in and just being one of the guys and learning.
Well, the good thing is that our mission here has been to help. I mean, license sales are the lifeblood of a wildlife agency, and that runs true pretty much throughout the country. The North American model of wildlife management is, the hunters and fishermen pay the bills and allow our agency to do the things that need to be done to manage the populations. And
it's critical.
Not only will it be Tennessee, but it'll be other states as well. And so that's awesome.
I'm looking forward to the challenge and. In all aspects of that, and primarily learning a lot.
Oh yeah. You're good at that. You absorb it and apply it, and have shown that you do a great job with that.
No, thank you. It's all a team effort. For
sure.
Yeah.
Well, we'll still get to work with him, in your new role, so that'll be great.
It'll be fun.
Yeah.
Right. I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm not looking forward to leaving. I'm going to miss everybody for sure. But if you don't miss it after 21 years, then you've been doing something wrong, I think. And I'm greatly going to miss everybody.
Right.
Well, what's that one thing that's you're going to miss most about leaving TWRA or leaving the agency, Tennessee?
The people. This is a family, and many people have said it, but I remember the first time I ever heard it was Ed Carter, Director Ed Carter. He's retired now. He said that getting hired at the agency was like a life sentence. People get hired here and they don't leave. And the reason is because this is a phenomenal team of people. It's a family. As I think hopefully the viewers here can see that the kind of relationship we have and laughing and joking, it's very fun. A lot of hard work, but that's the reward.
Yeah.
The people. Jason, to be the people for sure. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, a lot of people don't get to enjoy a conversation like we're having with our boss right now,
Yeah.
Where we're working together as opposed to, okay, I'm here and you're down here.
Yeah. And I'm sure some people laughed when you said boss because I hate hearing that.
Yeah, I know.
I'm just one of the people here. We're one of the team.
That's At the agency, you go through a lot of training. I just went through some training here recently, and that was one of the things that stood out. We're a team. We're not. I'm your boss, or I manage you, or I'm the leader of this group. We're all working together. We're a team.
Yeah, everybody has a different position on the team. Nobody's any better than anybody else. And I always say that every position is the most critical position, and every job is the most critical job in making sure that we are successful. One person is not more important than the other. One job is not more important than the other. We all do a different job as a collective to get that thing done.
Yep.
That's my perspective.
Brought back to the first question or first topic of the show, building that app. We had to have Todd to get this raccoon to move. That's part of that team. And then, all these elements have to come together to make things happen.
There's so many people. And talking about the app, just as a good example, there were so many, dozens and dozens of people that worked on that thing. And for it to function like that, we always talk about it and say, hey, let's test it to break it. And if we can break it here, then I know somebody can break it out in the field, and we don't want that happening. So we're just constantly working on that. We have programmers and web people and GIS people with the maps. I mean, and then those specialists in the field, like the wildlife, the law enforcement, and fisheries, and all those people are looking at it too. So how's it going to affect my division? And we really had a broad scoping project throughout the whole agency to bring that up and coming, up and out to the public, and we've done that as we move forward too with all these other projects. So it's a great example of what we do every day on everything.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, challenges.
Wow.
What's some of the biggest challenges you faced at the agency?
You're putting me on the spot.
I mean, there's so much that's going on. I mean, just in my time here, some of the big things are Asian carp, CWD, new duck blind situations, directors changing, and things like that. What
wild hogs and I mean, there's all this kind of stuff.
Yep.
And just even trying to get sandhill crane seasons out. That was
that's another one I didn't think about.
All of those, and those are just examples. We're not trying to be all inclusive here. Those are all some examples. But I think. I would have to say, and I don't want to be on bandwagon here, but really COVID was probably the most difficult thing because we had to manage shutting down our businesses, or our offices rather, not shutting down our business. I misspoke there. So we shut down our offices, but kept the business running.
Right.
And how do you do that? The logistics behind that, and having people work from their homes and AWS, and having some people in the offices if they can be. And we didn't shut down any functionality of our business whatsoever. That was logistically improbable, but we made it happen as a team, kind of like what we talked about a minute ago, like you mentioned. And at the same time, managing those issues like Asian carp and CWD and the duck blind stuff all during COVID.
Yeah, because those didn't take a break for sure during that time.
So I think that was the most complicated and challenging thing to do, and having to do that without being face-to-face, because there's a lot of things we can talk about right here, and we can work on things together, but when you're doing it over video or over a phone, I'm telling the public that they've lived it too, so they understand.
Yeah, they do.
So I would have to say that that's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And being successful in doing it was, I think we need to just have a shout-out to the entire agency who said, the director's office may have come up with these bright ideas about how we would do things, and they told us, yes, we can do that, no, we can't do that. They said, let's tweak it, do that this way, and they were the ones that made it happen, and they deserve all the credit.
Yeah. I think it's amazing how well we did. I mean, I think it's just the abilities of Zoom and other platforms to be able to communicate, and then the outdoors did not close.
No. So
we have to keep providing services and keep making things available, keep letting people know what they can and can't do, what's open, what's not open.
Right.
I know communications did not stop.
Communications did. No division stopped, right? And you guys were critical in getting that message out. And Governor Lee supporting us and saying, hey, and he took an active role in saying, please get outdoors. And we had, segments where you guys focused on him and showing the public that, our state leader is out here doing this. And it was fantastic. And it was a team effort. I hate to keep saying that, but as a collaborative effort in every position, like I mentioned a minute ago, every position was incredibly important in making that happen.
And then we have the governor came on the show and to even express more that, this is critical. This is we need to keep the outdoors open. Get out there and do it.
But at the end of the day, it wasn't that difficult of a sale because of what we have here in Tennessee.
Exactly.
It really wasn't.
I think with people having a little bit more leisure time or a little bit less commute time, I'll put it that way. They didn't have to go back and forth to work as much, and so all of a sudden they thought,
I'm going to get out.
They were able to look around and as you said, Michael, see all the how blessed we are to live in Tennessee.
The differential or the different types of geographic beauty we have here and the resources that are available to us and distinctly from east to west.
Right.
Tennessee is unlike any other state, and what we're able to afford, what we have here and able to offer the public is tremendous, and they know that. That's why they live here. And we were, like I mentioned earlier, we came in number one across the country in sales and bringing new people. I think 30% increase in new people and 15% increase in overall sales, which ended up being number one in the nation. But I think, obviously, you guys did a tremendous job in that. It wouldn't happen without you. And all the the outreach and marketing that we did. But it still comes back to the tribute, what we have here in the state. And it's wonderful. And it's one of the things I'm going to miss for sure.
Yeah. As things lift right now, I'm thinking, man, I was on the water a little bit more last year. Maybe I got to find some more time to get out there.
How am I going to do that? Right? Hey, let's do a WildCast out here.
Yeah.
Let's do a WildCast out there.
Do a show there. So maybe we could throw, cast a rod here a few minutes.
Well, I think one thing it did do is open up the minds of you guys in the front office, really, as to how efficient it can be, alternative workspace,
Sure.
AWS, and being able to, maybe not having to be 8 to 4:30 in a particular seat every day of the week.
There will be some, more than likely, a little bit of changes moving forward.
Little adjustment here and there
to accommodate those specific situations where we see, and the supervisors at those levels see the benefit. And I think that those conversations will be pretty easy to have now that we've seen it. For sure, right? And they've proven it.
Well, let's jump to the outdoors real quick. When we've talked outdoors all day, but tell us about that whopper on your wall. Recently y'all had a meeting or something, and you had a fish mounted. Tell us about that story. Tell us a fishing story.
Yeah, it was at an undisclosed location.
Oh, we can't. Oh man,
I'll lead out with that. It was at an undisclosed location, and I was not having a good day. Now Director Wilson was pulling in fish, and then Director Carter was pulling in fish, and I wasn't. I was like, what is going on here? So I was getting a little bored, and I started fishing on the bottom, just like, okay, because most of my fishing throughout my life, my favorite kind of stuff has been sitting on the dock or something like that, and just bobber fishing, just relaxing with my son, with my family. I just like to do that kind of thing. So I just went back to old school. I'm like, I'm just gonna fish on the bottom and chill out here. And I thought I had a little catfish, and it started pulling. It brought it up, and it was right at just under 24 inches largemouth, and largest fish I ever caught, and didn't have a scale, so I don't know how much it weighed, but Bobby Wilson is sure proud of me for catching that.
Bobby was fisheries chief. He's big into fisheries, if you don't know.
He was so supportive of me. No, I'm tongue-in-cheek. He was so supportive of me catching that. He was so proud of me.
Oh, that's funny.
So I let him come in there and look at the fish all the time. I think he's going to miss that fish now.
I can hear him now. Yeah.
And then since then, I caught a couple more like it. And,
really?
And he's so supportive of me catching those other two.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Love you, Bobby.
Yeah. Well, we're going to run out of time. So thank you.
Thank you.
For your support over the years, your dedication to the agency and to our country. And
thank you very much. It's been the best thing in the world, and like I said, if you don't walk away after 21 years and really thoroughly miss everything you did, then it wasn't worth it.
Yeah,
so,
that's right.
Yeah,
that's
I
right.
miss everything, but I loved it. Yeah. Thank you.
As Jason said, I'm going to chime in again. Thank you for your service to the agency and to our country.
Well, thank you guys for everything you do. You guys do everything. You do much more than me, so thank you.
Thanks. All right. Well, it's been another good episode of Tennessee WildCast. We appreciate y'all tuning in, watching, and listening, and we'll see you next time.
Thanks for tuning in. Stay connected with TWRA by visiting our website at tnwildlife.org and follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Hey, it's all about Tennessee wildlife. It's what we do. Tennessee WildCast will be on the air again next week. We'll see you then.